Is this all right? Hi. Hello. My name is Kirti Koditoko. I'm the founder and CEO of Jendo Innovation. So today, now I'm online, so you can ask any questions from me. So I'm willing to answer. Thank you. Any questions? Oh, or shall I give a brief introduction about myself, and so that the four of you can understand? So I'm a graduate from University of Moratuwa from Electronics and Telecommunication, and I followed major entrepreneurship minor while I was doing my major in electronics. Uh, yeah, so I'm doing it. Thank you, Sanjeev. So actually, during my university studies, I started this company because I had a strong passion uh, to continue a career as an entrepreneur. So I was dreaming about it when I was schooling. Uh, so I decided to pursue my dream after the graduation. So currently we are doing it, uh, and we are achieving our milestone successfully. So currently we have entities in Japan and UK also. So uh, we are trying to build things in Sri Lanka and I mean, give our the, like share our knowledge and share the opportunities with other areas in the world. So yes, the discussion is open for you. So please ask any questions you have. Hope you can hear me clearly, right? Yeah, in Jendo Innovations, what is the business model? So in Jendo Innovation, we do biomedical innovations in cardiovascular health domain. So we develop, test, and do the clinical trials for the product, and then we partner with the mass scale product manufacturers to sell that product. And as a company, Gendo will be focusing on new development of the technology, because cardiovascular system itself has a lot of areas to develop. So currently we are developing a device that can identify the innermost cell layer variations which happens uh, at the early stage of the cardiovascular disease. But the next stage, we are planning to create more products, and we partner with the manufacturers to sell it. Hope I answered your question. Okay, Sanjeev, I didn't see your question early. So, so what is the technologies? Okay, currently we use C++, and for the demonstrations, we use MATLAB, and we use Java and PHP also for the server-side applications. Okay. Yes, Asela, we are a product development company. Uh, we uh, we do this kind of innovations, and apart from Gender Innovations key product, we do services, uh, but that is under Effective Solutions, not under Gender Innovations. Uh, that is also one startup that I have founded. Uh, Actually, that is the first one I started when I was in the university. Uh, so we understand the customers' problems, and then we give the solutions to them. I mean, technology solutions to like solve that problem and achieve their return of investment by using that solution. So that's a part of the thing we are doing. But when I'm talking about Gendo is fully focusing on product development. So, you have any questions? Okay, I see two of my friends are joining. So, hi, Damit and Pamita. I hope Damita is in Australia right now. Right. Okay. Yeah, Hasita. Actually, in that case, I want to talk a little bit about fourth industrial revolution. I hope some of you may know what is fourth industrial revolution, and for the sake of everyone, I'm uh, willing to explain that, and then I'm coming to this medtech space, present and the future, because I'm talking about this because of the future potential. Uh, we know the world has started industrial revolution when James Watt has invented the steam engine. So then the world has started the first industrial revolution. Then they identified that the animal power can be converted into the machine power. So that is the key thing that changed the world during the first industrial revolution. In the second industrial revolution, we identified the electricity. That is with the theory of electricity from Michael Faraday. So that second industrial revolution came. And when we talk about uh, uh, the third industrial revolution, like ICT and electronics. So with that, we have identified the cyber world. Right now, we all are following that trend, and we all have mobile technologies. We are experiencing that. Now, people have come to the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution means bringing together the physical, biological, and digital systems. Actually, that is a fusion of those three areas. Fusion means you cannot uh, like divide them, that will come together. So when we talk about medtech space, this is why we want to focus there. People want to develop this kind of innovative medical solutions so that they can do remote health monitoring, and they can do diagnostic, and also people can do a lot of applications into artificial organs. That is the kind of areas that comes in medtech space. Currently, most of them are under research, but after 2020, most of them will come to the world. Many of the companies are trying to introduce their solutions, and they are in the pipeline. So talking about this technological development, I see one more question. So how we present ourselves to the startup world. So what we initially did was we worked with these concepts and we did research. After we did the first pilot study in National Hospital, we identified that we have a great product, and not only a technology, this can be a product to the world. Then we decided that we will go for a startup, and they will the startup ecosystem was building at that time. This is around 2015, as I remember. So when we move into 2000 startup world, so we first went to the John Keel's Innovation Challenge. In there, actually, we managed to win the competition. The most important, not only winning the competition, so the ecosystem and the support we got from that competition, and the companies and the other competitors who were with us. So that was great. And after that, we went to Seedstar. So we became the startup in Sri Lanka again, and then we managed to go to the finalists in Seedstar World in Switzerland. And so likewise, this year we became the best startup in CSSL National Awards. So far in the startup world, startup ecosystem, we are doing a lot of things, and we are building a unique product, and we open the potential of Sri Lankan startups to the world. Yes. Okay, I see a lot of questions now. Wait, let me read. So do you talking about your... No, okay. I think Asel, this is very valid. So actually, we focus on the product. So when we are doing a product, it always, comes with some byproducts. So we can provide some services when we move forward, and also as a startup. So we should try to maximize the chances we get. So in that kind of like environment, especially in Sri Lanka, we we provide certain services, not all, certain services, so that we can maximize our chances and build experience and expertise in our team. Uh, and again, talking about this uniqueness, so yes, we are specializing ourselves so that we can become a leading, I mean, we can run a leading role when Sri Lanka moves to the fourth industrial revolution. So this is where we are targeting. So since you are asking about our future plans, so this is why we are already in Japan, and we are doing collaborative projects with Japan, and that because we want to like uh, join Sri Lankan innovative minds with the Japanese know-how, so that we can like accelerate ourselves to the market. Okay, but let me read the. I hope, Asel, I answered your question. So please raise if you have further questions. So this is what are the difficulties and challenges. Yeah, actually, talking about that, we have a lot of things to talk. Uh, okay, I'll start when I was in the university. So that's I think that will be easier to talk. So when I was in the university, we didn't have much freedom to do these things in our curriculum. So I had a lot of problems when I was doing the company while I was doing my studies, and that was a big challenge. And actually, I worked as a team. My other colleagues who are already with me, uh, I mean, always with me, and they are business partners right now. We together face those challenges, and we managed to get through the exams and get through the business. So that's how we overcome the challenges, and also we got a lot of financial problems also when we were doing it. We wanted to find funding. Now, say for example, a product like Jendo, uh, people initially didn't believe that kind of technology can exist, so we had to convince. So when we wanted to convince, what we did was we approached the topmost professors in the country, who are like uh, who can guide us and who can evaluate our product. And especially the Science Foundation, National Science Foundation, helped us a lot in that situation, because they have lot of capacity in terms of knowledge uh, and the funding uh, for the initial level of research. Right now, they are moving forward with product implementations as well. But that is also one thing that we had, and we used that opportunity to overcome from those challenges. Okay. Okay, how you built the team for your startup? So, okay, I think that is a very critical thing when you are doing a startup. If you don't have the right team, then you cannot achieve any target. Uh, Now, say for example, in my company, we started with our batchmates, but all of us have different set of skills. So therefore, it was like a collaboration all the time. The, when I was doing like product idea generation, someone of my team can make that happen. I mean, that person can bring the knowledge of technology to develop that. And someone from our team can do like implementation. So that kind of thing is very important, especially when we are doing startup. We need this set of knowledge. First one is you should have a like vision where to go, and then the second one is we need a guy who has the financial knowledge. And then if you are doing a technology startup, you need technological guy and maybe more. So you need that capacity, but doesn't have to be technology all the time. So you need domain expert. That's what I meant. So domain expert, financial experts, and the visionaries. So they are important. And then we can, I mean, with that we can start something. But when we move forward, so we need a lot of guidance. So uh, and then you need some seniors and maybe your parents, or someone you can find from your university or startup ecosystem. So they are willing to support you and guide you, and that advices are very important. And I got few of them as my mentors. They were really happy to mentor me, and that is also very helpful to build this kind of startup, because you cannot get experience without doing it. So you have to either read the books, or either you have to uh, get the uh, get the relevant mentors for that. Mistakes. Okay. Yeah, no one can do things without doing mistakes. So some of the mistakes uh, we may not be like so we may not be able to tell exactly whether those are mistakes or not. If you want to identify mistakes or something as a mistake or not, there's a saying like this: either correct one or uh, a mistake is an action. So the actions can be, I mean, let me tell like this: actions can become mistakes or a correct one, but only time will tell it. So I hope you understand. So according to my experience, because I told this because some of the mistakes, I mean, according to my understanding, may not be a mistakes in your understanding. Okay. So uh, so I think I could have like taken some uh, investments at the initial stage. uh, I mean about, I mean, like first three, I mean, until up to 2017 I thought that is a mistake. I didn't take investments at the beginning, but in this year I understood that if I go there and raise more investments at the beginning, what will happen is my vision will get affected by that. Without building the company to the right level, we are like changing it. So likewise, one mistake, I mean, I thought that was a mistake early, and then now I'm thinking that's not a mistake. And I think one more thing, when we are doing startup, I think one mistake I didn't care much about the legal aspects. So I got certain problems, and I got, I mean, now I'm clear with that. But uh, I I think those things are things that we should care about, uh, because when we are doing startups, we are not thinking about those things much. And about the financial things also, we uh, uh, like we now have like certain outsourced uh, services, but I think for a startup, those services has to be started from the beginning. So that kind of things, I think some startup has to do. Okay. uh, how did you secure funding? Okay. Yeah, that is one of the great experience. So when I was doing this Jendo, uh, I managed to talk to a lot of investors. But when we talk to investors, it is very uh, important that the investor must understand the technology and the vision of the product. Otherwise, you will not be able to secure the funding. So I experienced that, and some of the investors, they show some potential of the team, and they don't like. I mean, they don't understand the product and the next level of developments that it can like that it can go up, right? What we did was we approached the investors who had some medical background, who had hospitals. That is how we got the investment from the Softlogic group. Right now, Jendo Innovation is invested by, I mean, is under the funding Softlogic group, because they own the hospital, largest hospital chain in the country. They understand the whole concept and the potential of the product. So that is how we approach these investors. Um, okay. Uh, yeah. I think medtech. When you are doing something in medtech, you must have a good team. The first one is that, because there's a long journey. You will not be able to do things within 1 or 2 days. So that's not the power of this area. So you have to, like, if you are building things in medtech and consumer domain, your life cycle may be short, and your competitors also will be higher, because they will develop and they will copy your product very easily. But if you are in the clinical domain, you need certain processes to be followed. So you have to go through the ethical clearance and the clinical trials, and then the authorities approvals and those kind of things, not only to develop the product. So I advise these budding entrepreneurs in medtech domain to identify, I mean, they must identify what is the domain that they are exactly focusing. Now, say for example, Jendo focusing on clinical aspects. I mean, we developed our initial version of the product in 2016, but for the approvals and the processes, it took long time. Still, we are going through certain things, and then we want to get the medical community involvement. So those kind of things, it is very important. And If we follow this kind of path, the chance of getting competitors is also less, because they have to follow the same procedures if they come up to this level. So my advice is they should choose the exact path they want to follow, and then they should build the team around it, and then they should secure funding accordingly with the right partners. So that's the key important thing. If they don't have the right partners, they have a big problem to proceed forward. So challenges. Okay. Okay, a lot of people, for this question, Hasita, I want to answer in a different way. So in Sri Lanka, you know, we don't have many many startups in medtech domain, and also we don't have many investors who are willing to invest on this domain. So, but this challenge itself has an opportunity in this, since there's no many many companies, many startups, or many investors. There are uh, there are no many barriers in this. In Sri Lanka, we can do research, and we can um, we can develop new technologies, and the medical community and the engineering community supports a lot. So those kind of things are there. The challenges are actually coming from the financial and certain knowledge gaps. Now, for example, when we do patenting in Sri Lanka, for this kind of patent, to draft that patent, to file in right places, uh, that support is not that not there for special products like this. So we hired the lawyer, the patent attorneys from Singapore, and then we managed to file those patents and uh, get the relevant approvals from the authorities for those intellectual properties. So that kind of problems are there. It's still there in the ecosystem, but I think in future those things will be, those things will get sorted. Yeah. Any questions? Oh, okay. What is your opinion about hackathons? There seem to be a lot of these days. I believe accelerator programs than hackathons, because building a startup is a long journey, and having such accelerator programs will, will give more insights and domain knowledge, and certain things uh, that helps the startup founders to sharpen their business idea, and they and speed up their growth. So that is very important. Hackathons are good just to get the market awareness and the funding, some funding due to cash, like cash prices. So that I see those two are the I see those two as the opportunities in hackathons. But I think startups should not follow hackathons all the time. Even accelerators also, not all the time. They should carefully select the accelerators which has the expertise that can guide them and that can grow them fast, and then they should do it by themselves because they know their business than anyone else. Okay. Uh, so Asela, about your question, this medical domain hasn't been treated. I think it's emerging. I think most people like when I started, I saw this gap. Uh, many of our friends who did uh, biology in the schools, they follow medicine in the medical college, and we follow engineering in the engineering college, but we never talk to each other about these uh, like uh, like similarities and the things we can do. But now uh, that discussion has started, and programs like the biomedical engineering in Mortua and University of Colombo also bringing together this discussion, and they have like uh, annual events to introduce this to the Sri Lankan startup ecosystem. I think uh, that will come up in next few years. But as you say, it is true. Still, that is not there because the system is still under development, as I think. Okay, and hospital also use manual systems, but uh, some of them are willing to use automated systems. But the behavior of the people is they are not willing to change much. So I think that's the uh, that may be the reason. But anyway, I think it will definitely go to that level because as I said initially, when fourth industrial revolution is there, every like uh, every domain has to change. uh, has to adapt those technologies into their systems. Now, how was the feedback and support given from your family when you started? Okay, about the family, actually, uh, mm, I got very good support. Even now, also I am getting, and my brother is also working with me. He is about 3 years junior to me. He also followed electronics and telecommunication in Moratua. So I'm getting a good support. Uh, if they won't, if they didn't support, I might not be able to do certain things. Even my dad initially supported with certain financials also to start the company uh, and to take it forward. Yeah. Your partner, PC, CEO. I didn't understand this question. If you get to partner with any VC CEO in the world, who would it be and why? Can you please elaborate it a little bit more? So I'll pass that and move to the other one. Uh, how far is Sri Lankan IT ecosystem from? Okay, okay. So I have an answer for this question. So if Sri Lankan ecosystem wants to come up to Silicon Valley stage, I think it may take about 10 more years. Uh, don't get, I mean, some people may not agree with me, but when you study the history, the situation, this kind of situation was there in Silicon Valley in 1980s. The startup companies like us were there, and they had ideas to win the world. But the investment firms are also smaller at that time, right? So they did certain level funding. But in Sri Lanka also, we have to work with I mean, local investors are the best because they understand us than anyone else, because uh, they know our background and they know what we can do. But when we move out from Sri Lanka, we need global investors. In order to attract the global investors, we should show them good examples and running business model and a scalable business model. In order to get that up to that level, I mean, some of the companies are coming up to that level, but in order to get our entire ecosystem up to that level, uh, I mean, most of the companies should achieve that kind of that kind of opportunity, that kind of levels. So I that is why I think by around 10 years time, Sri Lanka will be there, because I know a lot of people, I mean, a lot of my friends who are working towards this goal, and I believe they can uh, do this, and we all are helping, and we all want to get our startup ecosystem up to that level. And we want to create Sri Lanka as the next Silicon Valley in South Asia. So that is why we are building these kind of unique products and get the attraction of the world. Okay, so I think I answered that one. So first, I mean, for this question, what are the qualities you look for co-founders? So one main thing is co-founder level, I mean, group members should have a self-motivation, because those co-founders are the driving force of the company. I mean, if we build a startup, you cannot say everything to everyone every time. So which will not happen. So the co-founders are the key to your success, because they have the self motivation, and they will motivate other employees, and they will share the same vision, and they will bring a lot of expertise and their ideas to strengthen that vision. So uh, that is the capacity of the that is what I think as the capacity of the co-founder. And thinking about employees also, there are different levels. uh, we very much appreciate the employees who has uh, self motivation, and employees who can like think think about the solution when they see a problem, when they see a like project or something. If they can uh, build their own model for that, and that capacity is very important. If we see that kind of employee in our like in our company, we should take them forward, and we should give them much higher positions. I really believe that, because that kind of skills are very important to organization growth, and to get and to achieve the higher growth rates. Okay, how manage time, how do you stay motivated situation you don't have any success in the business? Okay, that is again something with your vision. How, I mean, this question, Hasita, you are asking about the motivation. uh, my advice is to follow your passion. If you are following the passion, if you are following your right passion, which means you are following your life goal, the life dream, so then you don't have a problem in motivation, because you know that you are following the right path. And also one more thing I can bring here: if we don't have success in, I mean, success in business in terms of financials, that doesn't mean you are in a trouble. You can always have certain milestones to validate whether you are in the right path. So if that is there, then you can always solve that kind of like dilemmas you have. Okay, you said you didn't focus on skill side much initially. Oh no, it's like certain agreements, partnership agreements. I mean, I'm talking about these legal things. So those are the things. I mean, when we talk about the agreement kind of things, the agreements will not be important if things work perfectly. So if there is a problem, I mean, you will face problems when you do a lot of businesses. So in that kind of situation, these documentations are very important, because that document covers this kind of scenarios. So that is why, I mean, those things are important. How do you find talents? Do we have enough in SL? Okay. Even these days also, I'm looking for certain people. I believe Sri Lanka has talent. And I'm doing lectures in University of Ruhuna, University of Moratuwa, and National Institute of Business Management, NIBM. So in these centers, I meet people, and apart from that, I'm planning to like give my, I mean, share my knowledge with other institutes also. In there, I mean, after the lecture time, I always give uh, time for the students to talk with me, and they can approach. And I mean, by talking to them, uh, I I identify talents most of the time, because what I believe is people, not the technology. If people, I mean, if right people is there, so you can always win the technology, because they can learn fast. So if they can learn fast enough, so we can have that faster growth in our company's growth. So that is why we need good talent and good people, so that we can have that growth in the startup. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you for reminding me this. Uh, I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurship Society of University of Moratuwa. What was the purpose? Okay. When I was an undergrad, I mean, during my first day of the university, I remember our vice chancellor was saying, uh, we created this course, I mean, we created this engineering course to create the job creators and not the job seekers. So he won, I mean, that sentence actually, I mean, went deep down in my mind, and I was thinking, what was this? And when I was studying, as I said initially, I always wanted to uh, build my own thing. when I was schooling also, I was doing many sports like cadetting, cricket, uh, and some other extracurricular activities. uh, I was doing it my own way. In the university also, I did that in my own way. That is why those sentences captured my mind. And when I was doing the company, when I started the company, as I said, I saw many barriers from the curriculum. Even though Vice Chancellor had that idea, even though our lecturers had that idea, we were not ready. I mean, our students were not ready, and we were always thinking that other universities in the world, especially in US, they are performing very well. They are doing a lot of innovations and they are building startups, but we are not doing it in Sri Lanka. So what I identified was that problem is there in our mind, in our students. So I mean, we discussed that a lot, and I decided, okay, before we go out from the university, we will create a body for this. We initially started this society as an unofficial society, and we managed to bring all the students who had entrepreneurial idea together and meet with the industry, and we had weekly meetups. Especially, I should remember Professor Dili Kadayas. She helped me a lot, and because she had the same idea, she wanted to see this happening, and that is how that unofficial setup became official setup and became the Entrepreneurship Society of University of Moratuwa. And we had the vision of taking all the universities in the country to this society and operate like a uh, university based entrepreneurship society, not only to the government universities, not only to the private universities. So we can I mean, connect the industries and the technical colleges also with this society and bring this expertise together and create create that mindset in our younger generation. That's the whole idea. So in simple terms, the entrepreneurship society is a platform for the youngsters in Sri Lanka to build their entrepreneurial skills and uh, to pursue their career as entrepreneurs. So that is the whole idea of entrepreneurship society. Yeah, other universities. Okay, one more thing. Other universities also, can join with the. I mean, they can start a society there and join with the Moratuwa Entrepreneurship Society, because we have the established way of doing it. We have the constitution and everything, so that the continuation is there. And uh, currently, as I know, University of Ruhuna, University of Peradeniya, and SLIIT and NIBM has entrepreneurship societies, and also University of Sri Jayawardenepura. So we are discussing with them, as I know the current officials of the entrepreneurship society is handling that discussion. So what we want to build is to take Sri Lanka forward. We should create the mindset in our in our younger generation, especially in the universities, because they are the one who has the potential to make the change, because they always has the energy to stand up uh, for the national causes. So as a country, Sri Lanka can become a great country if all our young uh, university graduates and the and the other school children can get together and build innovative things so that we can win the world. So if that kind of thing can be facilitated through this kind of initiatives, that will be the the greatest change that we can ever achieve. Okay. What are the common traits? Okay. So talking about successful entrepreneurs, I think their main thing is their uh, perseverance, because they pursue their vision uh, and they live uh, with their passion. So I think that is the most common thing. Uh, with that, I think anything is possible, because if and the other thing is they make it. I mean, they can bring it to the world as um, a need to the society. So that's how the entrepreneurs comes up. Otherwise, people will uh, uh, not share that same vision. So that should uh, have something that do good to the society. So I think we can take one or two questions more. So can you, did I answer all the questions? If I miss anything, please put a comment. I think I answered all. Okay, this is where something I always speak about. So, okay, what are the skills that SL graduates lack? Uh, SL graduates always think that the subject knowledge is the most important thing. They always they always try to follow uh, the theoretical subjects, and they want to get that knowledge. That is important, but the other skills, the knowledge, mindset, and the attitude, those things are very important to come out as a good graduate. If not, they will face a lot of problems in the industry and they cannot handle it. So I remember when I was talking with uh, Dr. Uh, Dr. Navaratna. So he told me he named it as KSAM graduate. K means knowledge, S means skills, A means attitude, and M means mindset. So as I said, the knowledge can cover only 25%, and then the skills. So like I said, we expect the self motivation, leadership, those kind of things from the graduates, because otherwise they are nothing without it. So, and the attitude, so how they react in a hard situation, how to like and how they commit to something, how can they work as a team, and the mindset, where do they want to go, and how they think about the current situations, and how they motivate others to the cause. So that kind of thing is very important in Sri Lankan graduate. I don't see that in many graduates. If that skill is there, if that combination is there, I think no one will fail in the industry. Everybody will be really happy, and most of them will be doing leading roles uh, in the society. And also talking about SL graduates, they always think that someone should come and offer them jobs. I think that mindset is there in all the fields, but I think they should change that. Actually, if that KSAM is there, I mean, knowledge, skills, and attitude and mindset is there, they will never think like that. I think we should tell these graduates to build their like student life around it, and then eventually it will build their career. So I think we passed the time. So and I see there are no questions anymore. So okay, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you got a got something to your life. Again, I want to thank you and wish you all the best.